The UFC anniversary is loudly knocking on our door, and on April 13th, it'll break in. The 300th event is full of high-profile fighters, and how can you not be excited about it? The fact that the night is opened by two former UFC champions is enough to hype you up, but the main fight will surely get your blood pumping. Before we dive deeper, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a like to support our work. Clashes between two champions have always been promising, especially when their careers are at a high point. Therefore, earlier in 2024, Dana White announced the UFC 300 main event, which brings us exactly that. The main spotlight of the night belongs to two exclusive strikers in the light heavyweight division, Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill. With the gap of 1 year and in record time, Poatan managed to capture titles in two divisions. Pereira quickly expanded his fandom beyond the borders of Brazil, thanks to the rivalry with Izzy Adesanya, his cold face, and stone hands. After putting on two UFC shows with his nemesis in an epic storyline, Alex Pereira ventured into the division above in mid-2023. First, Poatan picked up a decision win in his debut against the legendary Polish power, Jan Blachowicz. Soon after, he marked the end of the year with a victory over Jiri Prochazka, and thus became the new light heavyweight champion. The man just comes and conquers. In addition to all that, he was crowned in front of the eyes of the former king, who watched with displeasure from the first rows of the full arena. While the light heavyweight title exchanges were frequent and entertaining, the return of the real champion has been waiting for a long time. After more than a year off the battlefield, Sweet Dreams is finally healthy and ready for action. The last time we saw Jamahal Hill fight, it was against Glover Teixeira in an incredible title fight in early 2023. Before that, Hill knocked his way to the title against tough opposition in just a few years. Unfortunately, Jamahal had tough luck with an injury that happened when he played basketball. Talk about the timing. However, he did not want to create a crowd in the queue for the title, and like a true sportsman, he vacated it. It's no secret that he gets more hate than he deserves. But the fact is that Jamahal Hill is a top-tier fighter, and he is back to retake his throne. Poatan will certainly bring his awkward but effective stance in the game, which includes his heavy hands targeting the opponent's head. We all know his left hook and balanced striking is always there. Speaking of heavy hands, Jamahal has a fair share of knockouts on his resume too. He is a relentless puncher who keeps on pressuring. Luckily, these two absolute giants both know how to stand and bang, and hopefully, we will get to see that. Well, Jamahal stated that he will do it. Although he's facing a kickboxer, he claims he will not wrestle with them, and that would mean a great night for the fans. Jamahal will make sure he brings counters and precise hooks into the fight, if he keeps his word, of course. We've seen the damage Pereira's calf kicks do, and then turn fighters into wrestlers. Will Southpaw Hill be able to check Alex's siege of sneaky kicks? Or will Jamahal be the one to make Pereira busy with kicks of his own? Poatan's power is known to everyone, but Sweet Dreams, although he is aware of it, is confident in his striking skill. None of these guys is someone you see losing often. Together, these men have 21 wins and only 3 losses. Alex and Jamahal can both take hits, and we will see whose power is more dominant. Their tendency to give concussions makes up for 14 total knockouts, and it could all come down to whose hands do the better job. However, we must consider that this is an MMA fight, and Hill has every right to wrestle. Although his wrestling is not so often presented, everything is possible. You know that MMA math doesn't always work. Who knows, maybe Alex will surprise us with his grappling in the end. When a matchup is top-notch, it's not always necessary to have things personal to make it more interesting, although it helps. But to spice up the already existing hype, we will remind you that the man who introduced Poatan to MMA is Glover Teixeira. Everyone who follows their work knows what kind of duo they are, friends and comrades. The same Teixeira lost his last fight against Jamahal Hill in a 5-round war, and this will be the perfect opportunity for Glover to get second revenge through Alex. He managed to coach him to victory against Jiri Prochazka, to whom Glover lost the title in the first defense. And if Pereira wins, the ending of the story could be legendary for the bros from Brazil. Anyway, there's no bad blood here, just two warriors who are confident in their mental and physical abilities. Both are known for their iron will and impenetrable characters, and it will be fun to see whose desire to win is greater. Whose toughness do you think will triumph in the end? The hard part is almost over for both of them. Alex did extra grappling rounds just in case, and his fists looked more dangerous than ever on his training footage. Considering how Jamahal looked at the recent interview with Michael Bisping, it's obvious that he sweated more than enough in training camp. Due to the nature of the sport, the question mark still stands above the winner of this fight. Now would be a great time to take a look at the thoughts of fellow fighters, and what is their opinion of their brothers in arms. Yuri Prochazka was so close to recapturing the championship, but as we all know, he was stopped by Alex's power. Although he hasn't tested how hard Jamahal hits, he believes Sweet Dreams has more tools in his fighting kit.
more weapons in that fight. I feel like there is on Jamahal Hill's side, but we'll see. Yeah. Jamahal Hill have a better. I think he will have the better chances on the start of the fight, and when the fight will continue, there is more chances for like I've seen that for Pereira, but we'll see.
Flyweight GOAT Mighty Mouse also chimed in as always. Gave some wise advice from personal experience on how Jamahal can get the win. However, Jamahal Hill is comfortable that he will beat Alex in his own domain, where he is at his best, without having to show off his wrestling skills.
No. I definitely think everybody's beatable. I think the blueprint to beating Alex Pereira, my personal opinion is I've always never fight people where they're their best. I think it's just harder. Not saying you can't do it, it's just a lot harder. Yeah. But I would smother him so bad and I would wrestle him until the opportunity he was exhausted, and then I will let my hands go.
And and mark my words when I say this, there will be no, I do not plan on taking him down. I do not plan on wrestling him. I plan on going in there in where y'all think he's just this otherworldly guy because he did kickboxing and I didn't do kickboxing. You know, this is a completely different sport. Kickboxing is kickboxing. MMA is MMA. I've been doing MMA for years.
Although some claim that Jamahal has no chance against Poatan in stand-up, the former bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling believes in his friend's abilities, but also concerned about Hill's previous injury.
We have the 300 main event that was just announced finally. This is a banger. The only thing I'm kind of curious about, and you know, Jamal's my guy. He trains out here in Vegas now too, and I just hope he's not pushing something that could be, knock on wood, end up in another catastrophic injury, because obviously Poatan's a tough dude. He uses a lot of calf kicks. If Jamahal can find an opening and do what he does best and land one on the chin, I think it's sweet dreams.
We can agree that if Poatan learned English, his comments would be even better. Pereira, being the awesome guy he is, decided to do it with none other than Sean Strickland after their fight, which is one of many reasons why they train together. If Sean does a good job as a teacher, Pereira could become venomous with his words. But that's Alex's charm. He doesn't say much. What he says in Portuguese, and it's mostly his huge fists that do the talking in the cage. Accordingly, at the UFC 300 Q&A, we finally got a translator that accurately translated Poatan's words. One of the questions was what he learned from watching Glover Teixeira versus Jamahal Hill, and Hands of Stone gave the ultimate answer.
Glover Teixeira take on Jamahal Hill.
O que você aprendeu vendo o Glover lutar com o Jamahal?
Eu venho aprendendo muito, me dedicando muito, e eu priorizo isso.
I think that the fight itself is the least important that I learned from Glover. What I most learned from him is on the daily life, in the gym every day, and how he carries himself and what he's like as an athlete. That's where I really learned from Glover.
It's hard not to love a man like this. Of course, it was a question of when someone would publicly ask whether Jamahal was stupid to stand with Pereira, to which Poatan said,
do you think Jamahal Hill is dumb enough to stand with you? And if he does, are you going to knock him out with the left or the right?
Bom, do nocaute eu não sei se vai acontecer. Pô, ele pode usar outras armas também, mas não dá pra saber o que vai acontecer.
I don't know if the knockout will come. I'll be very happy if it does, but we're talking about MMA. If he feels comfortable and he feels like what he's doing is working, he's going to continue doing that, but he can always use his other weapons as well.
A particularly interesting comment is Kenny Florian's precise description of Alex's deadly weapon.
And that left hook was cultivated and created by Satan himself.
In addition to expressing concern for his friend Jamal, Aljamain Sterling touched on the danger lurking in Alex Pereira.
Where you got a guy who hits that hard and he's tying you up and looking for that big left hook, which he puts everybody down with. Look at the Strickland fight. Look at all these other guys. It's like he's not the fastest striker, but when he connects, it is dangerous.
Also, former fighter Paul Felder made an interesting point when he said,
if you've ever seen him, pressure doesn't seem to bother the guy. I think he's thriving in there. He's had a real crap life that he worked through.
Will we hear "And Still" or "The New" on April 13th? The stormy night will end with the Supreme title bout, and we all can't wait to witness it. Just a little more time, folks. The wait is almost over. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, and keep your guard up. Peace.